Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I am Renuka and today we will doing some kind of color study with the watercolor pencil, as well as these are our two study guides. It's a reference picture. I don't know it came from one of my student gave me these, and I just print out them so that you can see those blurry effect. Maybe these are created by AI. If you don't watch the previous video where I created this, I suggest you go ahead and watch that first so you will get a better idea what I'm trying to say here and how we get up to here. Okay, so now let's do the next step. So you remember we used this shade of green. It's a kind of aqua green color for the eyes. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit more so that you can see the eyes. Now if you see closely, these eyes are not perfect and little bit blurry and something like that. So we will give a little bit more finishing touch. The detail finishing touch, I always say that you should give it when the painting is totally dry. Okay, so now I'm just taking, this is my 000 brush, this called detail brush, and the pencils I'm using are the watercolor pencils for Staedtler's. You can use whatever you have in your stash, and if you don't have watercolor pencil, you can directly use your watercolors, but give it a try. Maybe the effects will different, maybe it will look little bit different, but ultimately you will get the results. And I'm just putting, I want to just put little bit of line there, so I will just add little bit of that green and on that side and this side too. Whenever you feel that you add little bit more that you don't need it, you can pick that with the brush just like that. Dip your brush in the water, use the paper towel and just smudge it off. Now whenever I use the rag, I always say that I should use the rag, and if you watch my channel before, I really promote that I should not waste the paper. I never waste the paper because I don't want to waste it. It's not about money, it's all about the responsibility we are having with towards our upcoming generation, and the best thing I can give to my kid is that. So whenever you are using these kind of watercolor pencils, or if you're using the new, if you saw the sticks, watercolor sticks from Winsor Newton, you can use those also, or you can use a plain watercolors, traditional ones. What happen is if you're using pencil and if your watercolor, you put the water in the brush and you do this it goes sprinkle all over it. So whenever you are picking the color, make sure that you will cover the main portrait, or you just go little bit outside of your main thing. Now you can see here I got little bit more there which I don't want. Now I want to grab that, so I'll just dip the watercolor brush in the water, and then I will just take out that. So that is called picking the color. Okay, we add few strokes of these red color before, which we didn't give any water to move, and I add them where the water, there is a water, so you can see the difference between these two strokes. These are more prominent and these are not so prominent. Okay, so it's totally depend which kind of effect you like. Sometimes for the highlights I use these kind of mediums. Watercolor pencil I'll introduce in my life when I'm doing my interior designing degree, and in the designing process for the 6 months we just have to learn about the drapes and window treatments, and at that time I found those watercolor pencils are so much fun to use, and they are so vibrant. Now you can see they are so vibrant, and sometimes they add that little bit of pop in your work. So I really like that. And maybe I'll add little bit of green here, not much. I don't want to, you know, take the fun part of that ice. Okay, another way to use this watercolor pencil, I'll show you. You just have to put this is the board I borrowed from Bleak Arts, I think, yes, and they have really many watercolor supplies. Mostly I use the Tim Holtz thing, but you can use this also. Both the side I use, so you can took any water droplet on the surface or any kind of paper. Here I'm taking paper so that you can see what exactly I'm doing. And now this is my pencil, I'm just dipping it inside. So now my pencil will got the very high intensity colors, and now I want to use those for these lips. Okay, so I'll go very subtle with them. I will not just, you know, put the color just like that, because it is so intense that if you just put and press your color without having any plan, you're gonna destroy your drawing. Okay, so now I have this small, again, 000 brush, which I'll use to spread that color little bit, so I will not get the harsh line. Now remember, we are just building a layers on it one by one, spreading those colors, making our decisions. And whenever you feel that it's not working for you or it's getting more darker, just leave that time, take a little bit time, go away, and then start and work again. So particularly for this one, if you see, she is having all these small hairs coming out from everywhere. She's having a little bit very messy hairstyle going on, and you can see few flowers and little bit of watercolor down here. Her dress is like that it's a flower in between, and then on the background also there are so many things. So at this moment you will get, now you can see I put that color here, so I need to pick that, and I will just add water, rub that little bit, and then remove it if I need it, but maybe it will go inside this platter. So back to the things again. Now I want to create this flower, and this is the one prominent flower here. There is another one here, maybe here, I don't know what is that. I might use the butterfly, and in the background you can see there are small imprints of the branches, small little branches of the plant here also. So there are so much going on in this picture, and you have to decide like how many layers you want. So at this moment you can stop and you can directly start with your watercolor rather than doing the pencils, because it's gonna take time. And then you can do the some stenciling here and here, or you can add the 3D flowers, direct flowers also, and that will also give you a 3D effect. What should I do? I don't know. So I'm gonna put it aside and we will start working on our flower. I will take a little bit of yellowish color to start with. I don't want to go with darker in the first tone. And there is some kind of center of the flower, and there is different petals going on here. And again there is another flower, there is also center, and in this flower also there are so many petals. This is more in smaller scale. And then there is one leaves here. There are leaves, there are few leaves on this side and this side also. There are so many leaves going on in this area. if you saw in this area, this, and on this side they have something different, but overall she is having kind of updo, like her hairs is upstairs upstairs me on the head, and then there are few strings. So for these few strings you can directly use watercolor or this. I can't mix both of them because otherwise I'll lose the technique, but let's see if I can mix it. So I just put the yellow color there, and now I have this same red which is we just use for the lips. Definitely we need more work on the lips, but right now we will add few shades. Can we do this with the new color too? I don't think so. You can do the bigger things, I will show you those also, but for the details like this you need more precise medium. Okay, again I'm gonna grab my colors and I'll take water. It's a better to put water on this side so I will not splatter there, and then I'll just mixing those colors, and I'm gonna put that color in the middle whereas the puddle is going on. Again I'll wash the brush, again I'll take the water, damp it here, and I'll go petal by petal. Okay, I'm not going here. I don't suggest backward and forth movement more whenever I'm doing. I always suggest few movements, and particularly for this thing I think center, going to center is now here there is a that color which splatter, but it's okay. Now if I go this, it will not work, and you can see I have those pencil marks which I should remove first. I didn't remove here. Let's see if I can. Again same technique, I'm just putting water on these fonts. Few I want up till the top, few I want just there. So don't use directly your pencil there. If you needed some more color you can just grab this and do like this. Again I don't want to mess, so I was like, now there is a technique in the watercolor which we called it glazing, that we put the colors on totally on the, we create a transparent layer on it. And all these fancy terms or stuff I learn when like very later in the life, and before that we did that when we have to draw the transparent sari in the Pichwai art or in the Indian miniature art. So my background is kind of mix. I learned traditional arts and then I came to get an understanding of the official terms afterwards. But definitely it plays a very important role in my life. Now look, the thing is there is already a color mixture there, and I'm just putting those small half circle or C-shaped circles in them. I'll show you. So I always have these kind of papers where there is like collage papers or extra printouts, and then I'll show you like it's this the movement should be like this. So I'm making kind of 6 or ants or something like that, and then I'm going to do the same movement, but I'll just focus it and I'll show you. Now this one is here, and then I'm just adding that little bit of darker shade around it. Okay, and I'll add a little bit here, and I think that's it for me. Then I'll grab again my yellow, and then now if you push your pencil inside, it will create the depend on paper also, but it will create that kind of indentation or the mark inside. So be aware of that. That might give you a different texture here, like a 3D one, embossed kind of stuff. But you have to see that, do you really need that, or you should go with the light handed. That is totally depend on you. And then here I'm just darkening out bit the outer surface. Again I will grab the water brush, same water brush, and I'll just pull few yellows from the outside, and then I'll go backwards and I will pull that red colors. Okay, again I'll wash my brush and then I'll add few strands here. This flower is way smaller, but it's more brighter than first one. I'll add little bit of those stuff here. Okay, so now you can see that it's looking more filler. Now it's time to choose the colors of the leaves and other supporting colors. So what are the supporting stuff and what are the supporting colors? Okay, first I'll choose the leaf colors. So if you have a sap green, hooker's green in your watercolor palette, you can use those, or you can see I have all these shades of green, this kind of fluorescent yellowish green also there. So I'll show you all the greens. So I can use all of them particularly for this one, this painting, but I'll see which one I use. I'll check on the paper and then I'll suggest also you always do on the same paper if you don't want to do me like that, if you don't have much more idea. So but basically I need a sap green color like this. Sap green is the color which is kind of this, which is not, this is the and then hooker green is the color which is like more towards the brighter shades. This is not hooker green, this is kind of a hooker green. So and but this for support those colors, you know, this kind of colors for mixing also you can just put this color. So this is we are doing the glazing on this watercolor paper, right, like this. So that is one thing. And then I'm talking about the fillers. So fillers are the stuff like if I draw, okay, let's take the brighter color here. If I draw a flower, then I have few spreads of maybe the leaves and something, but there are many things like gap everywhere. You can't put the leaves everywhere, it will not look good. Then you will add some kind of ferns, maybe few strands of grass blades, maybe some kind of berries, maybe some kind of small flowers, and those are the fillers. Okay, so you have to choose the colors for filler also. So these are the fillers, and you can see in this also there's so many fillers like this, some of this. I don't know what exactly is going on, but there are so many fillers, and then they just have a little bit of wash, and on that wash they create something. So either you can create a full wash here, like you can create a yellowish or peachy color wash all over here, and then you can put your stuff on that like the flowers or something like that. And if you don't want to do that, you can just feel those colors, feel the flower, feel those gaps afterwards, feel the flower first, and then you can do the color. So now here I'm using red, which we use for the leaves, to just get that kind of stuff going on. And you don't have to do always a green color leaves, you can go ahead with the shades for the filler like these, which are more muted color. This is not exactly brown, but this is the shade of gray, shade of purple, or purple gray kind of stuff. We can do that. Again, I'm not a I use the medium differently whenever I feel that okay, today I will use this, tomorrow I'll use this, or sometimes I'm just in a mood to do these kind of stuff, like where I'm using every watercolor paper I have and every watercolor mediums I have. Maybe one day I can make a video on my full watercolor supplies. Okay, so for this shape, if I using the watercolor, it's so easy to make. We don't need much efforts. It's a one stroke shape, and maybe if that drawing is not generated with the AI, I don't know, it is like that. And then I'm adding this. Now on this side also they have few leaves, maybe in green, not in this shade, and pure green or something like that. Or maybe we'll choose the another color, like more purplish color for this. Okay, sometimes too many colors is a problem. But let's see. Then I want few hair should fall here, something like that. Overlapping is fun, okay, although you have to be very careful, but it's a fun sometime. Many times I just forgot to take a step-by-step photos. Nowadays technology is too much, so I can do that afterwards also. But if you want to preserve the same thing, and if you want to do the color study like I'm doing every time, you can take a picture or make a line drawing first, and then you can have the picture there, so that you can have more ways to stress, then you don't have to sketch every time. But it's personally everyone preference that how they want to take or how they want to study, or if you're just doing it for fun, then do like me. Maybe every time you sketch something and it turn out little bit different what you did first. And like here, if you ask me, my this eye is little bit dropping, I'm criticizing myself, and this eye is not, where in this one both the eyes are bright and open, and she is having that kind of wow look on her. Like if you are saying wow, the eyes get bigger. So it's totally depend. Sometimes I know I'm doing something wrong, but I didn't stop, like, you know, it's happened. There is nothing wrong in the world kind of situation. It's always this stuff. Now I'm just making this she's C shape easy flowers. Okay, if you watch my videos, I love the watercolors, and then if you saw that I make all of these strokes with the most of the times with the water. And particularly this one, let's see which brush we should use. Okay, so I am taking this water, and I just want to see that how light effect that creates. I'm not washing my brush. I'm just giving and mixing in all that color. I just don't want those harsh lines. I'm doing little bit subtle look here. Like I don't want the prominent lines. So might be few, sometimes you will see the few gaps there. So whenever you have extra color in your brush, just feel the gaps in between like this. Okay, so that as you grow, your painting grow outside, it's going towards outside, you have that kind of now you can see those red marks are so prominent that I want some of them here also. Maybe I make few with the pink here. I really like those, they are turning really nice. And then for the brown, again I can get a greenish brown. So these kind of work you can do with these pencils, any watercolor pencils in fact, and that gives the more controlled, still fun way of doing this stuff. Now here, if I just pull the brush and feel the color with those, they are very subtle in a way. I can show you, wait. So I'm just pulling that color. I'm not washing my brush away, or I'm not taking whatever pigment I have little bit there, I don't mind. And then whatever I have in the brush, I'm gonna just feel little bit. If light is there and it's going, you can tilt your paper and see whatever you feel or not, and you can do like that. Okay, now you can see. And then again for this one also I'm gonna do the same thing. Now here's the thing, now you can again pick the color. Don't put directly pencil there, you can add color there little bit. There is a more water here, so it may be dry and harsh lines, so you have to remember that also. If you don't want the harsh look, just take a little bit like this, just little bit less pigment and less water, like this. If I'm doing this the watercolor, I will definitely use the two-tone shade, something like that, cause that will give me more idea here. Now ideally I have this water little bit color in the brush, on my brush, and here I'm just swapping that little bit of color here and there, although I know that I might get some blobs like that, but still I will do that. And then this layer by layer we are just creating the next drawing. Now remember we add there little bit of pencil, so that one goes like that. I'll just give little bit highlight there. Now you can see step by step our painting is taking a form, and we have that kind of flowers and something going on. Now definitely we need here a green. I'm taking this dark green now, but still I will make sure that it should not much prominent, and I'm making this kind of leaf more kind of rosy leaf here. because I want to fill that area and I want to go on that side, and same time I want to touch. Maybe we can create one butterfly there. Maybe we will have few small strings like that. Whatever you draw twice or thrice everywhere so that it look cohesive and not. These are some kind of funny leaves I'm drawing. And maybe add few here and few here. It's a one fun way we did once we are in college. Like we I did all of this stuff together, and for the main product we have to design some kind of product designing, and then I masked the main product like this. If this is my main product is my face here, so I masked it out, and then I color all the stuff with these kind of bright inset pencils, and then I just spritz it with the water, so that water react very different way, and what it gave me a very different kind of illuminative fun way of creating the splash of colors in the background. Means at that time you can see there are few colors, there are few shapes, but you don't know or totally. Sometimes you can recognize, okay, this shape is leaves or flowers, but sometimes it just become more kind of, you know, mixing the stuff inside. And you can do that kind of stuff here also. Okay, now you can see we have so much going on this side and this side, but here we need more down stuff as well as the hairs, I think. So I'll add little green here. Which green? Okay, maybe one flower, one or two, and then we can add more hairs. So this is the hairstyle. I think it's like a very messy one, but what happened in this hairstyle is you can see few things are going up, few things are going apart, few things are just straightening head in the main process. And that is the beauty, that you can draw your own stuff. Just imagine that this girl is having a loose end of hairs, and we can build more and more on it. So this is just a first, you can see that it's a first layer, or you can stop anytime you want. It's not like that you have to follow each and every step whatever I'm doing. Okay, so I'm using a really nice brush. I'm just daubing little bit here and there. I don't want on this side, which I did, and then little bit here, which I don't need it. So these pencils, if you got like there, you can see the color of the pencil, you can remove that also with the eraser. That's why I love this pencil. This is my, and these are the very lifelong pencils. If you use very frequently like me, sometimes it is really easy to carry, so it's my go-to when I am out. But now you can see we are kind of balancing the stuff, we are kind of balancing the hairs, and it's coming out our own way. We are doing something else, not exactly what we supposed to know. I'll take a yellow again to balancing out here, and for this shape I'm gonna create some kind of a butterfly shape, although it's not exactly butterfly. I'll add that. Okay, I hope you like the project, and if you like my channel, please subscribe to it, leave a comment, and let me know what you want, what you want to see on my channel, as well as share it with your friends. Until the next crafty project, have a crafty life. Bye bye and take care, and see you in the next part of the same video.